Memorial Day weekend, my favorite weekend of the year, for a few reasons actually. First and foremost, is when we honor those who fought and died for this great nation of ours. And secondly, it's the unofficial start to summer. And summer is the official start of barbecue season. And what better way to kick off barbecue season than with smoked pulled pork? Let's go. Welcome to Sip and Sizzle. I'm Chris Lozano, and this is the show where we talk about outdoor cooking and fine craft beer. So yeah, barbecue season is upon us, and so what better way to kick that off than with pulled pork? And how we're going to do that is we're going to smoke a pork butt on our gas grill. But before we get into that, what I'm sipping on today is a Sweetwater 420 out of Sweetwater Brewery in Atlanta, Georgia. Now I drink all types of beer. And a lot of times people ask me what my favorite beer is. Well, that's kind of hard because it really depends on A, the time of year, the temperature outside, and what I'm eating as to what my favorite beer is. So it kind of changes. But if I was hard pressed to name a favorite beer, it would definitely be Sweetwater 420. It is a West Coast style pale ale. And that's different from an IPA. An IPA is really hoppy, really bitter. Whereas just a regular pale ale, it does have a hop bite to it, but it is nothing that's overpowering. And the thing about a Sweetwater 420, it is very versatile. It goes with anything. Mexican, Italian, Chinese, barbecue, hot dogs and hamburgers. It doesn't matter what you're eating. This Sweetwater 420 will go great with it. And as you can see, it is a beautiful golden amber here, very light. It's not a light beer, but light in taste. It's very crispy. So great, refreshing beer. I highly recommend it. So getting into this pork butt, it is a bone-in pork butt, and that's what we're going to be putting out on the grill today. Now, I want to give a shout out to Chad Ward over at Traeger and Matt Pittman at Meat Church. This recipe is coming from them, actually. And if you watch their video, which they do have one out there on YouTube, they do this recipe on a Traeger pellet smoker. Now, if you've been following this show, you know I don't have a smoker, and we can make this same great recipe using a barbecue grill and a pellet smoker tube, as I have previously mentioned. And I do have a video on the pellet smoker tube, which we will put right there, and you can easily access it to learn how to use that pellet smoker tube. So start off by taking off this fat cap, also known, again, if you're a Spanish speaker, as the cuerito. And we're just going to start basically peeling it off, or cutting it off rather, and separating it. We're going to leave a little bit of fat on the actual pork butt, because you know fat is flavor as long as you don't overdo it. But for the most part, we are going to cut this off. So I'm going to continue cutting, and we'll be back in just a few minutes with the finished product. Okay, so we have the fat cap completely removed, but onto our pork butt here. As you can see, the fat cap has been removed. There's still some excess fat that I want to kind of trim off here just a little bit. Again, fat is flavor, so we don't want to trim off too much. We still want to keep some on there, but there is a little bit of excess we can get rid of here. Now, as far as seasoning is concerned, I like to use a binder to help the seasoning adhere not only to the meat, but also during the cook as well. And so there are several things you can use as a binder. A lot of people use mustard. I prefer olive oil. This is some extra virgin olive oil. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to slather this on here, get a nice little coat. It's like this, just get it all over, all around. And again, what this is going to do is help this seasoning adhere to the meat. You know, and you can actually do this up to, well, actually, you can do this the night before if you want. Today, I'm just gonna, I'm doing it here right here for you. But what we're gonna do is we're just gonna let it adhere for about, 20, 30 minutes. If you have an hour, great. But for video purposes, 20, 30 minutes will do. And the seasoning we're going to be using is Meat Church's Honey Hog Barbecue seasoning. This is a great seasoning for pork. It's got this, it's basically an all-purpose seasoning with honey powder added to it. And we're going to be putting this rather liberally on this because this is a thick cut of meat here. So I think personally that there's no way you can over season this. So again, don't be shy when it comes to this seasoning. Now you can season your barbecue however you want, obviously. It's your thing, do what you want to do. Traeger's got some great seasonings out there. Meat Church has got even more seasonings, not just Honey Hog that they have out there. And of course, you may have your own blend, your rub that you want to do, and that is perfectly fine. The point of today's video is not just making great barbecue, but showing you how to make great barbecue on a gas grill or charcoal grill. So there's nothing that we're going to be doing today that is exclusive to a gas grill. If you have a charcoal grill, you can do that too. We're going to talk about time and temperature. So what we're going to do is we are going to let this sit 20, 25 minutes, let it get a good adherence to the meat, and then we'll come back and we'll put it on the grill. Okay, we're outside at the grill now, and our smoking tube has been smoking for about 10, 15 minutes now, and it's time to put it on the grill. Now, again, this is a gas grill, a 3-burner gas grill, and this is my lit side. I only have one burner lit because that burner is going to get my temperature up to 275 degrees, which is where we're going to be cooking this or smoking this pork butt today, 275 degrees. And so, lift it up. Here is the surface thermometer. Now, if you've seen the smoked salmon video I made earlier, we talk about the importance of the surface thermometer. If you haven't seen it, we'll put another card up. Check it out. It's a great video. And this side is the unlit side. And this is what we're going to be putting the butt on once our smoker tube gets going. So we're going to go ahead and put our smoker tube down carefully over the lit burner. And once this gets going, we are going to put our butt on. Now, I'm actually going to use 3 smoker tubes this time because we got a big hefty piece of meat. So now that I put one on, I'm going to go ahead and get the second one started. And so by the time this one gets going, we put the second one on, and then by the time the first one ends, the second one should be catching, and then we do so on and so forth for the third one. Okay, as you can see, our pork butt is, the seasoning is adhered nicely. Look at the beautiful color we have on that, pulling out the juices. It's gonna be so moist, I can't wait. But we still got a ways to go. Anyway, what I'm doing is our smoke tube has caught and is burning really well now. And oh, and by the way, I'm using Meat Church pellets, which is a combination of hickory and post oak. So I know you've been hearing me say a lot about Meat Church in this video. Look, I am not sponsored by Meat Church. I don't work with Meat Church or Matt Pittman, but Matt Pittman is one of my idols. He is the one who inspired me to take my outdoor cooking and my grilling to the next level. So I can come here and share my knowledge with you and transfer a lot of the things that he says about the smokers that he uses and put them to a gas grill. Anyway, so we're sitting at 275. We're going to take our pork butt. We're going to put it on the unlit side. And again, we are going to be cooking this to an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Now that's not going to complete the cook. That's just completing the first part of the cook. There's still more to go. But so yeah, we're going to take it and we're going to do 165 degrees in the center. Okay, now that the first smoke tube has gotten going really well, we're going to take it and we're just going to move it over a little bit. And then we're going to take the second tube and put that gently over the lit burner like we did the first. So now, oh, and another thing, as you can see here, I've got the probe thermometers. And those is going to tell me the temperature inside of the butt. Again, we're cooking it to 165 degrees for the first part. Now, I've got one of those where through Wi-Fi it hooks up to your phone and you can monitor it. You can get these, I got this one off Amazon. But if you don't have one, that's fine. You can still use the old-fashioned meat instant read thermometer. Not a problem. So, we're gonna let this go for about 5-10 minutes, and then we're gonna start the third tube to bring out here and put on. Again, we're using 3 tubes because we've got a nice chunk of meat, so we wanna make sure it gets some really good smoke flavor before we pull it off. Okay, it's been about 40 minutes since we put that first smoker tube on, and it's already spent. So what we're gonna do is take it, and I got this little thing of water that we put it in here. We're gonna move the other one over, that's still going, and then take our third tube and put that down on top of the burner. And look at that, starting to form a nice, good bark on it. Okay, we're running at about 300 degrees, so I'm gonna drop the temperature on this burner a little bit. And there we go with our third tube. We'll come back to check on it once we start temping it a little bit more. And then again, we're gonna pull it once it hits 165 degrees. All right, we have hit 165 degrees internal, and look at this bark that has been created by that smoke. Now I went ahead and took off the smoke tubes because they've already been spent. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna take this off, and we're gonna go back inside into our kitchen, and we're gonna start the second part of our cook. Okay, we're back in the kitchen now, and here's where the fun part is. Here's where you can get really, really creative on how you want to do your flavors. Now, we put the honey hog on there as the base seasoning, but here, some people like to put on pepper jelly, hot sauce. Some people will put like some apple juice down here to create like a braising liquid, but this is what I like to do. I like to just coat it with brown sugar. Put a little brown sugar over the top of the pork butt here. And trust me, I'm putting a lot of sugar and a lot of it's falling off, you'll see. But as this cooks, it's gonna create a nice little liquid in the bottom that's gonna serve as like a braising liquid, but we're gonna come back to that too. So just put a pin in that one. And then we're gonna take some knobs of butter here and just put it over the top. Some people will put honey over the top. Agave Nectar is another popular one. I'm using this barbecue glaze, this maple bourbon barbecue glaze. I also use this on ribs too, I swear by it. It's so good. And I'm just gonna drizzle it over the top here. And as you can see, we've got it sitting in an aluminum pan. And what we're gonna do is we're just going to cover it with aluminum foil here. And we're gonna take it back out onto the grill. And we're going to let this cook until about 200, maybe 202 degrees Fahrenheit, and then we'll pull it off. Now, and here's where you can also fluctuate your temperature. If you want to take your time with it, if you got some time to spare, you can lower your heat. If you want to speed it up because you're ready to eat, you can raise the heat. Because at this point, it's not going to take on any more smoke. You saw the bark. It's already 165 degrees. It's not going to take on any more smoke. So now you're just playing with heat and time at this point. So we're going to take this back out on the grill, put it there again on that unlit side, and bring it up to about 200 degrees, maybe a little over. So more to come on that one. Okay, we're back in the kitchen now, and we pulled it from the grill at exactly, I think it was 201 degrees that I pulled it, and that's perfect. So what we're gonna do now is we need to go ahead and start shredding it. But first, let's go ahead and look at this bark. I mean, all of this is bark that the smoke and the seasoning created. Just a beautiful, beautiful piece of meat. So what you can do is you can just, again, see how it just pulls apart like this? Again, literally the name is pulled pork. I mean, look at that smoke. I mean, you can tell, just look at the color. And again, I used a bone-in roast just because it's easier, because the bone in the meat holds the roast together. Now you can use a boneless. There's nothing wrong with a boneless pork butt, but you may need to, if it starts laying flat, more flat rather than whole, you can always take some butcher's twine and hold it together. So again, there's really nothing wrong with having a boneless, but I just prefer the bone-in meat. But just look at this. Just look at the texture. This meat is just succulent. It's amazing. We can work ourselves around this. And I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and we'll come back and I'm going to show you a couple of tricks to impart even more flavor on this fine piece of meat. Okay, so now we have our pulled pork completely pulled off the bone here, as you can see. And I did this all with my hands. Oh, and by the way, not only do I have these gloves, these natural gloves here, but underneath I have some cotton gloves. You can get these off of Amazon. And that allows me to pick up the meat straight off of the grill, and it allows me to shred this with my hands. You can get some tools designed to shred meat. I think they're called like bear claws, and you know, so that's again another purchase you can get to pull and separate the meat. But again, if I can use my hands, I'm going to. All right, a couple of little tricks here to get more flavor into this meat. Something Chad Ward from Traeger calls finishing dust. Now, you remember the honey hog seasoning that we put all over the pork butt before we smoked it? Well, again, you know, you're putting the seasoning on the outside of the meat, so nothing really goes inside of the meat. So using this same seasoning to just do a little dusting of the meat here. And the meat is still warm, so it's going to absorb all of this seasoning. So yes, Chad Ward from the Traeger company calls this finishing dust. And I like that. I like that a lot, actually. And so another trick of the trade, and I got this from Matt Pittman from Meat Church, is we took all the juice that was in the bowl, or the dish here, the pan rather, that once we covered it with the brown sugar and the butter and the glaze that we put on it, it took the juices, combined with the juices from the meat, and we put them in a fat separator here. So these were all of the juices that were left in the pan after the cook. I'm not sure you can see the two layers, but it is definitely layered. You have your fat here and your juices right there. So again, taking this and sprinkling a little bit of that juice over the pork is going to give it some fine flavor as well. So you have the juices going back into the meat after it's cooked, and you're having the finishing dust after it's cooked, and you are left with some prime pulled pork. So I am definitely going to be digging in to this and getting me a piece of this. I'm telling you. Oh, I can't wait. I've been waiting for this. Oh yeah. Now that is where it's at, folks. You cannot go wrong with that. Pulled pork in a Sweetwater 420. All right. Well, that's it, folks. That's your pulled pork. Thank you again for joining us. Really, really appreciate it. And, you know, before you leave, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe. It helps me out tremendously. It helps out the channel, it helps out the show. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I'll answer any questions that you have. I've already had a few questions on some other videos. So by all means, I welcome your questions. I welcome your comments. So until the next episode, again, support your local businesses, support your local breweries. I'm Chris Lozano, and thanks for joining us here on Sip and Sizzle.